This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, friends. Welcome to GoOnlineTrainings.com. So yesterday we had seen, why the clustered index is important, why the non-clustered index is important. So clustered index are created whenever you wanted to, when you create a primary key, one clustered index is created on the table. When you create a unique key, you should be able to create a non-clustered index on the table. Clear? So when the data is not there in any sorting manner, that means it is in heap structure. So all these points we have discussed yesterday. And today, let us understand some more points. Okay. So all of them we had seen yesterday. So the clustered index always will have a root node. This is what is called root node, first page. Then you have intermediate nodes will be there. From here, it will going and putting the data in the sorting manner. Okay, there is an interview question. What does clustered index leaf node contains? It is clearly saying data pages. Okay, but a clustered index root node is an index page, and a clustered index intermediate node is called as index pages only. All of them are index rows. But when you see this data here, the clustered index, the bottom of the pages or the leaf node is completely having a data page. Okay, so why we can have only one clustered index? That is one of the important interview questions people have asked. Okay, why only one clustered index? That is the thing. Why only one clustered index? The answer is it is going to be sorting the data, right? So when you sort the data, you can sort the data on any one of the column. For example, I have four columns. And the first column, when I create an index, it sorts the data based on the first column. But when you try to create a clustered index on the second column, so it is going to be trying to sort the data on the second column. So when you're trying to sort the data on the second column, what happens to the first row sorting? It has to go up, right? So always sorting can be done any one of the columns. Okay, not or you cannot have sorting, yeah, A comma B like that. It cannot happen. Because of that reason, what happens is that a clustered index we can have only one per table. So the data is sorted based on that column, or if you have more than one column also. So you can create an index on combination of columns. For example, I would like to create index on the employee ID, comma gender, something like that. Okay, then the sorting will happen only on those two columns or three columns. Okay, but when you create on the fourth column, this sorting will get removed. Clear? So because of that, we can have only one clustered index per table. Okay, so that is the reason. So then if you don't have one more, if you don't have one more index, then definitely a lot of the queries will not going to work. For example, yesterday I told you select star from employee where employee ID equals to 8. Okay, when you say employee ID equals to 8, when the data is sorted and kept like this in the clustered index, I can simply jump into here. So 1 to 100 rows are in first page. So 8 means it is between 1 to 100. First read is going to be happening to the root node by the SQL Server. Then it will jump to page number 1. Okay, in the page number 1, it will be saying 1 to 10 rows are available. 1 to 10 employee IDs are available in page number 1. Then it will from here it will be jumping to the direct pages. Now it will read, is it 8? No. Is it 8? No. So here some kind of a scanning would happen. It will read, then from here there is 8, the 8 row will get picked up. Okay, if the data is not available in this, okay, for example, if a 9 you have given, when you give 9 here, if the 9 is not available here, it has to read only 3 to 4 rows. Even though you have millions of data, it will tell you that 9 doesn't exist. But the first question is that why primary key needs an index? Okay, index can be created manually also, right? The next question people would ask you, why primary key needs an index? Okay, so this is the first question. Or a unique key, either primary key or unique key. So why? Because index is something different concept and the keys are something different concept, because keys are there to not to allow the duplicated data. So that is the focus on the primary key or unique key. But why, whenever you create a primary key or unique key, why Microsoft is creating indexes also along with them? Because I told you yesterday, the indexes also can be created without having a primary key and a unique key. You can also create with the help of you know uh, this syntax. Yesterday I told you, if you're able to create an index without a primary key and unique key. But the question is that why, whenever you create a primary key or unique key, Microsoft is creating an index and leaving it there? So that is one of the interview question you may be getting it. The first thing, see, whenever you go in for a primary key or unique key, whenever you insert the data, for example, there is an employee table, you have inserted 1, 2, 3, 4, say John, and his salary is 1,000. You're inserting the data. When you insert the data, what primary key is supposed to do? It has to check whether 2, 3, 4 is already existing in the database or not. Okay, so that is the primary key or unique key, because they should not allow duplicate data. So that is the focus. Now, when the primary key is taking this row, and it has to validate whether 2, 3, 4 is available or not. So think about, you have 10 million data in the data pages when there is no index. You think like this: there is the primary key is there, but there is no index is not available, so data is not properly ordered. Okay, now what happens? To verify whether the 2, 3, 4 exist or not in the data pages, it has to do what is called a table scanning, row by row. Is it 2, 3, 4? No. Is it 2, 3, 4? No. Is it 2, 3, 4? No. Is it 2, 3, 4? It has to verify 10 million data, then it has to tell the user this is not, it is not there, let it insert. Now, it will take a lot of time for the SQL Server to verify whether the 2, 3, 4 is a duplicate record or not. Are you getting my point? So because of that, what Microsoft is doing, whenever you create a primary key, the Microsoft is creating index on this column. So what happens when you give the 2, 3, 4, it is going to be verifying 2, 3, 4 means it is under this page 201 to 300. It will be jumping to this. From here, it will going to be coming and verifying here. So the 2, 3, 4, if it is not there, then automatically it will not be there in any other page. Then immediately the primary key can tell that, okay, there is no duplicate of data, so I can insert this data. So primary key needs index. That is the reason why Microsoft is creating, when you create a primary key or when you create a unique key, the Microsoft is internally creating index and giving some kind of a support. Otherwise, whether you have a duplicate or not, without index, we can do that. Because normally when you write a C program, in the C program, they'll tell you, they will give you some 20 numbers. They'll identify the duplicate number in this. So the program, the algorithm easily can identify. So when you give 10, 20 numbers, the algorithm or the program can identify duplicate entries. But when you have the millions of the data, then algorithm will take a lot of time. So that is the reason why Microsoft is implementing, whenever you create a primary key or unique key internally, it is creating index and keeping it ready. Because tomorrow when you insert the data, the primary key itself is going to be using the clustered index and verifying. And even unique key is going to be using the non-clustered index and verifying whether these entries are already there or not. If it is not there, then the data will get inserted into the table. And if it is there, it will say the duplicate entry is available in the table. So because of that, indexes, primary key and unique key will be doing the work very, very fastly to identify duplicates, duplicate numbers in the given columns. Clear? So that is the reason why the primary key unique key needs an index. Clear? Now, the next question people may ask you that, okay, that is fine. Can I delete a index, but I need primary key? So the question is that people may ask you in the interview, okay, you create a primary key will create a index. Okay, but what I need, I delete a index, but I need a primary key on that. Will it be possible or not? So these are the questions people would ask you. Let me just go there and tell you some of them. Okay. So now we had seen heap table data is not structured. So here I'm creating a table called a test index table or a test table or employee table, whatever you wanted to create. So employee ID, there is no primary key, employee name varchar. Let me create this table first. Okay, I have created. Now I wanted to read the data from this table. You know how to read the data, so there is no data as of now. Okay, it is a blank table. Now find out the indexes on this table. I told you yesterday is sp help index table name is this. Now table name I have used sp underscore help index. Now it is clearly saying, what it is saying, object test index does not have an indexes. It is clearly saying there is no index at all. That's it, very simple. Now, after that, what I'm inserting the data 100, 24, 98, 87, 90. So there is no physical order. So I'm going to be dumping some data here into this table. The insertion is so faster. There is no problem. However, I have inserted. Okay. So which row got inserted first? That row will be the first. Okay. So 100, 24, 98, 87, 19, the data in which the sorting position is not happening here because the data is in index. There is no index in this. Clear? So now, even though you verify once more, the index is not available here. Okay, does not have any indexes, or you do not have any kind of a permission. So this is not the right thing. You can no, this is the correct word. Does not have any indexes. Clear? Now, what I'm trying to do now, read only the randomly. It uses random scanning. For example, I would like to verify test index where employee ID equals to 87. I would like to verify. Now, when you verify this, what is going to be happening? It is going to be retrieving the data by performing what is called a table scanning. Okay, so there is a, you can use the execution plan over there, include actual execution plan. So there is a small icon is available. When you click on this icon, okay, now try to execute the same query. Okay, so try to execute the same query. Have you seen one more window slowly got created? Okay, now you have results, you have a messages, and you have an execution plan. When execution plan, it is saying I am doing a table scanning. Have you seen this? So table scanning, this is the plan internally SQL Server is going to be doing for you. Okay, when you go there, it is giving you a lot of things, physical operation, logical operation, lot of things it is doing, but it is taking a lot of time. There is estimated operator cost. Okay, it is taking a lot of time to do that. So when you go there and check, so it is clearly telling select star from the where employee ID equals to G, or 01. So I'm doing a table scanning. Table scanning is very slow process. Okay, so you can simply go to the result set. Okay, if you don't want to see it tomorrow, you can just go here and switch it off, switch off and try to execute this query. That window will not come. If you need that window again, go to this. Okay, include actual execution plan, switch on this. After switching on, simply click on the execute button. Slowly it will come. You need to click this. When you click this, it will come. When you go back, you can go back. So these are three windows here, so that you can see what is the actual execution plan which SQL Server is using. And you can also see a lot of things over there. So the reading this is it will take a lot of time. You cannot read lot many things today, but what is the index it is using or index is not using, you can easily identify by clicking on this button. Let us go back to this and we can put it off if you want to put it off. Let us go back to that later. Clear? Now I don't have any index, it is doing a table scanning here. That's fine. Now I wanted to put some more data. It can put some more data, and even though you put some more data, manage which you are executing, in that only it is going to be inserting the data as it is. Okay. Now what I'm trying to do, I am creating a table with the index. Now the first table I am created with the heap. Even I don't have any keys here. The second point, I did not create an index also on this. Okay. But now, can I create an index on this? Why not? Okay, you can also create an index on this, and we can see later. But before that, what I'm trying to do, I would like to create a table with the index. I am not creating index separately. I'm simply putting the primary key. This is test index 12. One more table I'm creating. So that table is called as a test index. That's it. So these are two different tables. You don't get confused. Okay. So test index 12 is one more table I'm creating. And in the IBank database, let me create an index. Okay. So when you create a primary key or foreign key, let me check whether this guy is having index or not. To find out the index, sp underscore help index and the table name. Table name you may give in single quotes, doesn't matter, or without quotes. So that's fine. It is clearly saying, see, index name is this, and it is a clustered unique index on the primary key located, and the index is created on the employee ID. So this is what is it is telling. So which is telling you a clustered index. I created only the primary key, but it's creating, and every index also will have a name. You have a name, I have a name, your pet has a name, everybody will have a name. Like that, a database also will have names to each and everything. Every table has a name, every column has a name, every trigger has a name, every index also will have a name. So to identify, these are the things that will have the names, even though you did not give any index. You did not say anything about the index, but internally it creates a clustered index and sorting the data. A lot of things it's going to be doing. Now I don't have any data here, but now when I read the data, it is a blank. Now try to understand what is my first row. Let me insert these two rows. First row is 100, the second row is 24th row. Okay. Now you read the data would have been sorted physically in the data. See, now 24th row is gone up and 100 rows came down. Now let me insert some more values here. So these two have inserted, right? Now let me insert these two rows. Okay, these three rows. When inserting these three rows, and when you see the data here, now the data is physically sorted. Now see this data. 20 is the first row, 24, 87, 98, and last row would be 100. Are you able to see? Now let us go back onto the previous situation where there is no primary key, where there is no index is created. Let me read the data here. When you read the data, it is not at all sorting in any order. Have you seen? But on this, I don't have a primary key. But the people may ask you, can I create a clustered index on it? Why not? You can create a clustered, or you can create a non-clustered index. There is no issue. So if you wanted to create a index on this, what is the syntax? Okay, the syntax also I would have given you. Let me show the syntax here. Clear? So that is the data is structured when there is a primary key on this, and the data is physically sorted in the data pages level. Never think that it is a logical. It is a physically data is sorted. I'm telling you 100 100 times. Physically in the data pages level, the data is going to be organized like that. Clear? You cannot say that logically it is not going to be. It is happening only logically, but physical it stores the however it would like to store. That is the wrong statement. Okay, physically in the data pages itself is data is going to be organized properly. Clear? Now that is the point here. So when you do any kind of a deletion, it's going to be deleting, because deletion, when you delete some data, it has to adjust lot of pages. Or if you update any data, if you're updating 98 to 12, and this row has to be taken from here, and it has to update that row to somewhere else, definitely deletion updations will be taking a lot of time when you have an indexes. Clear? Now what I'm doing, I would like to disable index is also available. So if you create some index, that you should be able to disable also. If you want to enable index, that is also you can enable. But before that, I would like to show you how to create an index. That is what is the point here. Now, so create a clustered index on the syntax. That's what I told you. Create a clustered index name on the table name. So after the column you may have one column, comma, column number one, comma, column number two, column number three. So whenever you create a clustered index, I told you the data will get sorted, on the physical page. Let me take the same syntax here, and let me go up and create. Okay. Now I'm going here. So go top. So this does not have an index. Let me show you the data once again. So let me create. See, data is not sorted. Now what I'm trying to do, I'm going to be creating Creating a clustered index. Now I'll say index number, index underscore one, say clustered index. CI means clustered index. You can give any name. What is the table name here? The table name is this. Simply you write the table name. Created. Now on which column I have to create? On employee ID, or you can put on the name also. There is no problem. So you can give the index like this. Okay. So create a clustered index. If you remove the clustered, it will become a non-clustered. If you simply say create index one on test one, when you say employee ID, it will become a non-clustered index. Try to understand. Only for the clustered index, you have to mention clustered here. Non-clustered index, you need to remove this. That's it. If you remove, it will become a non-clustered only. Okay. Now I have created one clustered index. Now, when I create a clustered index, two things would happen. You remember, the data physically will get sorted. Now the index pages also will get created. So these two things would happen internally as soon as possible. Now you have a limited data here. Since you have a limited data here, it can sort the data physically. But think about, already you have 10 million data. Already you have 10 million data. When you try it a clustered index on that, it will take a lot of time to create now. So you never think that, you don't think that if you create a primary, if you create an index, it will get created within fraction of milliseconds. No. When you have, unlimited data, when you try to create a, a clustered index, since it has to sort the data, it will take a lot of time in the production environment. Clear? Now let me create the index. It has taken some time, not more than that. Let me check. So the data first. When you see the data, now see the data is organized. Okay. Have you seen the data is completely organized? So I did not do anything. I did not create a primary key also, but I have created only one thing, that is called, clustered index. Now the data is organized here. So clustered index is going to be creating the index space. It's not going to be creating a primary key. So try to understand. Primary key will create an index, but index will not create keys. To be clear on this. Okay, I have created. Now the data is been sorted. Now you can also see the index what you have created. Now index name, index one clustered index. Clustered index is created on the, or the primary is, it is a file group name. Okay, primary is a file group name, because when you go to any table will have a, file group. Then I told you, right, it will have a file group, will have a pages, and a file group will have MDF file, it will have pages. Now the primary, it is the thing, it is telling you the file group name. Okay, so I have created an index on this. Now the people may ask one more question. It has an index. Okay, it has an index. The index is clustered, but can I insert the duplicate data? One more thing people may get it. Clustered index is created, but there is no primary key. But can I insert the duplicated data here? So let me have the same data once more. Let me insert. Okay, so now it is able to happen. Now when you read the data, see, now there is a duplicate. A lot of people will get confused also. Clustered index is not stopping you, okay, to any duplicate data, but who's stopping you? If there is a primary key is stopping. Many people will ask this in interview also. If I create a primary key, index gets created, then you have no duplicates. That is fantastically fine. Then the second question they'll ask you, okay, I did not create a primary key, I have created a clustered index. But now I'm inserting the duplicate data. Will it be allowed or not? When I insert the duplicate data in the clustered index. So clustered index only sorts the data. If you have 10, 10, 10, 10 multiple times, so it's going to be sorting in that order. But clustered index never says that you should not have duplicate data there, or non-clustered index never says that you should not have the duplicate there. It is nothing to do with the indexes. Be clear on this. Okay, this is also one of the interview question. Okay, if I create a primary key, fine, primary key is created, index is created, then the primary key is stopping you not to, insert the duplicate data. That is fantastically good knowledge. But the next question people would ask you, okay, I don't have the primary key, but I have a clustered index on that same EID column. When I create a clustered index on this column, now my point is that can I insert the duplicates? The answer is yes. You should be able to create a duplicates. There is no issue. Now there is a point that you need to understand. Okay, I told you when you create a clustered index, okay, may be unique. There is a unique clustered index or there is a non-unique clustered index. That means what? So when you create a clustered index with the primary key, now what it does is that it creates a clustered index with unique values. Okay, this is what is called unique clustered index. But when you simply a clustered index, then it is a clustered index and non-unique. That means what? It is going to be sorting the data, creating pages, and it allows also duplicates data. So the clustered index is two varieties, either clustered index unique. When the clustered index unique get created, when you create a primary key, because I should not have a duplicate data. Now, like this, you can have either unique or non-unique, not both of them. If you create again both of them, then it will become two clustered indexes, either this or that. Okay. Now, in the this one also you can have like this. A non-clustered index also can be unique or non-clustered index also non-unique. That means what? Non-clustered index when you create on the unique key, automatically it is not going to be getting any duplicate data, but otherwise it's going to be you can insert the duplicate data there. Let me show you the same thing here. So when you go back, I have created simply an index, but it is clearly saying to you what it is saying. It is clearly saying when you see it is saying clustered index. It is not saying anything. Clustered index means it is non-unique. You can have the duplicates. Okay. So this is simply saying this one. But let me create one more table with the primary key. Now already we have created this. Okay. Now on this table, let me show you what kind of an index it has created. Okay. Now it is clearly saying clustered, but which is a unique. Have you seen this? Clustered, but which is a unique. Unique means what? It is not going to be allowing duplicate data. So that is what is the difference. Clustered index means it is a clustered index, data will be sorted. Even though you have a duplicates, no problem. But when you say a clustered unique index is created on the primary key, so this is going to be not allowing any kind of a duplicates data. So clustered unique index and a clustered index, like that. Any one of them you can have. Clear? So that is what is one more important point that you got to understand. Okay. Now I have created already one clustered index. Now let me create one more clustered index on the say clustered index number 2. I would like to create. So I have created on this column. Let me create one more clustered index on this column. So can I create it? I told you we can have only one clustered index on this, but we cannot have anything else. Now, when I say clustered index, it is giving me an error. Cannot create more than one clustered index. Drop the existing clustered index before creating another. Have you seen this error? So now you know that cannot create okay cannot create more than one clustered index on the table. Drop the existing clustered index and before creating another. So that you can do. But what we know, you can also create what is called as a non-clustered index. Remove this. Okay. Now we can say simply index non-clustered index. You can give saying that this non-clustered index number 2 on the name. If you remove, clustered here, it will become a non-clustered index on the table. It's created. Clear? Now you have the data pages from data pages are added to the clustered index leaf node. Then root the non-clustered index gets created and which is pointing to the clustered index leaf nodes. Okay, when you execute this, now what is going to be happening? It is going to be saying this is one index, this is a second index, but it is clustered, which is a non-clustered. On which column? That you should be able to see it. Am I clear or not? So like that, you should be able to verify what indexes are created, what indexes are not created, how the internally things are happening, everything you should be able to get from this, understanding. Simply you create them, you can, disable them. So tomorrow People will say, I would like to disable some index. I would like to enable some index. So can I do that? Yes. If you disable some index, what happens? Even though you're inserting the data, nothing will happen. Data is not being sorted. Net data is not, being inserted into the tables. Okay. But when you're inserting the data, if there is index in that, what happens? The data is supposed to be in the sorting manner. But when you have a SSIS package is running and dumping millions of data into the target table, now you're dumping the data, it is also organizing the data in the proper manner. Proper manner means after 1, 2 has to be there, after 2, 3 has to be there, after 3, 4 has to be there. But after 4, there is a 99. Again, there is a record called 5. The data comes in hazard manner. When the data goes in hazard manner, so not in the proper order in the destination table, the SSS package will become very, very slow. One of the interview question is that I'm inserting a lot of data into one server or one table, which is taking a lot of time. So what should I do? Okay, it is taking a lot of time. What should I do? So people would ask you this question. Okay, let me close this. When I do any kind of insert operation, can I delete the index but I need the primary key? The answer is no. Okay, you cannot try to create an index. Can I can I delete an index but I need a primary key? This I did not show you, right? Let me show one thing. So how to drop index we should know. Drop index, I think somewhere I have a drop index syntax may be there. Let me open. So insert and how to drop index also will be there. Creating a data is sorted. Already we had seen this, right? Data is now sorted. So everything is, we can say, what is a index is used in the below query. No index is used. It performs table scanning. Okay, because when you don't have any index on this table, it is going to be doing like that. Okay, now I would like to drop the index. Now, how to drop the index? This is the syntax. Drop index name on the table name. Okay. Now, what we do small thing here. Okay. Now, what I'm going to be doing. So let me take the syntax and I try to implement in this. Okay. Now, if you create one primary key already, the primary key is going to be having lot of things. Okay, I have a primary key, it is going to be having. Now, what I'm trying to do, I would like to drop the index. Okay, so this is how I should be able to drop. I have a data, perfectly fine. The data is sorted, and I have an index. Okay, this is also perfectly fine. But what is the index name? Index name is this. You need to copy the index name. Okay, copied index name. Now I said drop index name that you need to paste it. Okay, and which table I need to drop it? The table name is this. Okay, this is the table name. Control C and Control V here. So this is how you should be able to drop an index. Drop index name on this table. So this index I did not create. The primary key is created this index. Now what I'm saying, I need the primary key, but I don't need the index. Let me drop it. Okay, if I am going to be executing this, it is telling me clearly an explicit drop index is not allowed on the index blah blah blah. Okay, so explicitly you cannot drop that because it is being used by the primary key constraint. See, try to understand. People would ask this question also. Okay, I've created a primary key, it created an index, but now explicitly I wanted to drop it. Can I drop it? You cannot. Okay, so this is also one more thing that you need to understand. If there is no primary key, then you can definitely drop. Or if you wanted to drop the index, then you better remove the primary key. So create alter table name, drop primary key and employee ID. When you drop the primary key, automatically it drops the index as well. But explicitly you cannot say I need a primary key but I don't need the index. So that cannot happen. Clear? So these are the points that you need to understand clearly. Guys, am I clear? So these are the points. Can I delete index but I need a primary key? The answer is no. Okay, but if you wanted to drop it, drop the complete, primary key column itself. Okay, now the next question is, when I'm inserting the data, when I'm inserting the data using SSIS or any other program, bulk data, okay, to destination table, it's taking longer time. Okay, what should I do? It's taking longer time. So what should I do? The people will say that it's taking longer time. What is the cause? Okay, why? Okay, that is the thing people may ask in the interview. The answer is that, so you must, disable, okay, or people will say arrest indexes, and if you have indexes, comma, triggers, if you have, okay, triggers, if you have a check constraints, so all of them you should disable them for some time. Okay, so these are the thing that you need to do it on the destination tables where the data is being loaded. See, if you're loading 10 rows, that is fine. If you're loading millions of data, bulk insert, bulk update, bulk delete, these are called, huge operations. When you're performing this kind of an operations, you must disable, arrest indexes or triggers or check constraint, something like that, so that the insertion is very, very faster. Later you should be able to, create index, or you can enable the indexes. So that is what is also one more thing that you got to understand. Clear, guys? Now these are the points. Create a non-clustered index only on the city column. So creating and dropping, I have explicitly told you that you should be able to easily understand. Clear, guys? Now, add a primary key to the existing table. What happens is that it creates a non-clustered index on this table. So one more thing people will say that, for example, a, I have created a, people would ask one more question like this. For example, I have created simply a table like this. Okay. Now, after that, what I do, let me create some table and show you. I'm creating this. Okay. So it doesn't have any kind of an index. Now, when you see, there is no index here. Okay. Now, what I'm planning to do after this, I'm planning to create an index on that. Okay. Let me create a clustered index on this. I don't have a primary key, but can I create a clustered index? Why not? Create clustered index, and we can say index idx1 on which table, emp1. Okay, and the which column I would like to create on employee id. Okay, or you can also create on the city column, so there is no problem there. You should be able to create something like this. Okay, the data will be sorted. Now there is a clustered index is created. Now there is no primary key, but the people will say, after that I would like to create a primary key on this. Can I create? Now there is no primary key, but a clustered index I have created on this column. Or I can also create, uh, you know now I would like to alter this table and adding a primary key. Can I add the primary key here? Answer is yes. You should be able to add the primary key here. But now on this column, what happens is that on employee ID, it will create a non-clustered index, because already you have created a clustered index on this. A table can have only one clustered index, not more than that. But tomorrow, when you create a primary key on this, okay, so alter table name, add. So there is a employee number one, right? E at one. So that we should be able to do it. So that, syntax, I think it is there. Now let me show you that as well. Okay. So where is that? Add primary key to the existing. Add primary key to the existing table. Now alter table employee one. Add a constraint primary key and a primary key employee ID. So when I'm creating this table, I did not have, but let me alter the table and let me create. So it is created a primary key, but now primary key is having what? Now let me go to this table, employee number one, see the indexes. Now you should be able to understand. So the primary key is created with a non-clustered index, and that is unique index. And you have one more index called clustered index on the city column. Clear? So people would ask you this like this kind of a questions as well. Okay, I am creating a table with clustered index, but later what I'm doing, I am creating a primary key on one of the column. If I create a primary key on one of the column, will it create a clustered index, or will it don't create the primary key, or will it drop the existing clustered index? Lot of answers questions they'll give you, so you may get confused. If the already primary key, if any column is having a clustered index, now when you create a primary key on that, what is going to be happening is that it's going to be creating a non-clustered index on that. So these are the points that you have to understand. Clear? Now you can keep on going and creating lot of indexes and disable, drop them, whatever you don't need. Lot of things you can do. Okay, but a few points that you need to understand. What is a covered index? One more, interview question people are asked recently. Covered index is always a non-clustered index. Okay, covered index always gets the data from the index pages, but not from the data pages. Covered index is very, very fast. That means what? Whenever you create any index, so sometimes what happens is that you can get the data from both pages. Okay, for example, you take a book. Okay, book will have index pages, list of chapters. Okay, and a book will have index pages, and a book will have data pages also. Okay, try to understand. Now one question I would like to ask, get me list of topics from this book. Okay, to get this answer, if somebody asks you, I would like to get all the topics from the book. So all the topic names are available in your data pages also. But intelligently, if you go to the index page is also having a topic 1, topic 2, topic 3, topic 4. So index pages are 10 or 20, but the data pages are 1000 or 2000. So I would like to get the data, get me the list of topics. So to get the list of topics, should I go to the data pages? Need not be. I can go to the index pages and get the data. So index is covering the answer for the query. Now this index is called as a covered index. Okay, so what is the meaning of this? So to get the data, always you need not go to the data pages. Try to understand the point. Okay, always you need not go to the data pages. The index itself can tell you the answer for the query. What is the answer for the query? Get me list of chapters. If you get the list of chapters, you need not go to the physical pages and retrieve the data. So clear. So the query may go to the index pages, which are very, very limited. Okay, and it should be able to get the data very, very quickly. But when you go to the data pages in the book, it also contains chapter number 1, chapter number 2, but you need to visit 1000 to 2000 pages of the book and to list out the all the chapters. So which is very, very fast. Definitely reading the data from the index pages are very, very faster. Okay, covered index is always an unclustered index. Covered index always gets the data from the index pages, but not from the data pages. Okay, so whatever will be the answer you need, the answer, the SQL Server is not going to go to the data pages and scans or uses the index and gets the data. The data, it is going to go to index pages and retrieve it. So this is what is called a covered index. Covered index by default a non-clustered index, which is going to be covering the answer in the index itself. Clear? So this is the answer for the covered index. So for example, list of the chapter names from the book. Okay, list the city names. For example, whether you have Chennai or Bangalore or not. So I need not simply go anywhere because this is my non-clustered index. So Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad. This is the root node. Here itself, you will get all the city names. I need not go to each and every page and verify whether Bangalore is exist or not, or Chennai exists or not, or Hyderabad is exist or not. I want to verify whether a city called Hyderabad is there or not in the table. So we'll say select star from employee where city equals to Hyderabad, whether it exists or not. So it can just simply go to this page and tell you that data, or you can say get all the city names. When I say get all the city names, I need not go to each and every page of non-clustered index. Simply when I go to root node, all the cities names are listed there. So this I should be able to print them properly. So all these things are internally the SQL Server can handle it. Clear? So this is what is very, very important point that you should be able to know clearly. Okay, which index is used for the below query? When you're retrieving complete data, the table scanning is used. That means no index is used. So when we have a small data, then index is not used. Index is not recommended. Even though index is used, it is also not going to be used. So when you have a full table reading, or when you have the small table, there is an index on that, but still it is going to be using the index, this one only. For example, I have three, for example, there is an employee table with 10 rows, but I would like to verify where employee ID equals to 2. Now it is not going to be using anything because table is very, very small. Clear? So read the data row by row from first row to last row is called as a table scanning. Okay. When you go like this, now I don't have anything. Let me use our employee master table. Now I'll say employee account ID equals to 102. So there is a primary key on this column. We should be able to get the data, but let me execute the actual execution plan here. Okay. So this is, I have one table, but you can create any table and try to execute this. Now you should be able to get this. Now when you see, it is using clustered index seek. Okay, that means what? It is simply using a indexing. When you see table scanning, let me execute this. When I'm executing only these two and go to the execution plan, it is using clustered index scan. Okay, so it is using one more thing, clustered index scan. Okay, which is nothing but a table scan only. Try to understand. And it is using one more thing, clustered index seek. So there are two things. When it is using, index or not. So if it is saying clustered index scan, it is nothing but a table scan reading row by row, row by row. So when you're using a seek, that is means it is using the index. Try to understand. Many people will ask you, what is a table scan? What is a index scan? And the people may confuse you. Okay, you can tell them the table scan is nothing but a, index scan is nothing but a table scan only, reading row by row from first row to last row. Okay, when you simply go here and try to execute something, so you can go to the execution plan, clustered index scan. It is nothing but a table scan because I'm reading all the data. Only these two lines I'm executing. But let me retrieve like this. Now, when you go to the execution plan, it is saying clustered index seek. Seek means it is using a proper index, appropriate index on the data, which is try to get some data from here. Clear? So whether it is a seek or a scan or a table scan, that is very, very important. Okay. So you can also use the less than or equals to 5. Okay. Like this, you should be able to use clustered index seek. But now I have a primary key, there is a index here, but I have a branch ID in this table. Let me put BR1 here. Okay. So when I use one more thing here and try to execute it, now let me go here and see it is simply saying clustered index scan. Scan means what? So I don't have any index on this table. So let me show you SP help index. Okay, and on the table name. When you try to execute, you have only the index is created on only one column. Okay, so clustered unique index on the account ID. I don't have any column on the branch ID. But now you're retrieving the data on the branch. When you're trying to retrieve the data on the branch, what it is saying? It is clearly saying that I'm again using a scan. Scan means is it, it's verifying. Is it BR1? No. Is it BR1? No. Is it BR1? Yes. Is it BR1 data? Yes. So like that, it is going to be picking up. Okay. Now what you do, you should be able to create a non-clustered index on this BR1. So then it's going to be working. So something like that we can implement. So how many indexes, how many non-clustered index? I have told you. So when we create index, all of them we have told you clearly. So these are the points that you have to know when we're talking about indexes and all. Clear? Now, what is a table scan? What is index scan? It is the same as the table scan. It is also very, very slow. Okay. What is index seek? Getting the exact data using index pages, it is faster. What is an execution plan for the query? It is a plan created by the SQL Server engine to retrieve the data so that you should be able to get it. So when to use a clustered index is one of the important question. Okay, when we wanted to retrieve the range of values less than 10, greater than 10, between 100 to 2000, if you wanted to retrieve range of data, then a clustered index is more suitable because it is going to be sorting the data in physical manner. When I say greater than 100, now go to the 100, from there I have to read the continuous data. That's it. Okay. When I say between 1000 to 2000, go to the starting point 1000 and till 2000, I should be able to read. So when you wanted to retrieve a range of values, clustered index is very, very good. Clear? So when to use non-clustered index? When we wanted to retrieve the exact matches, for example, salary equals to 1000. So I'm talking about exact match. Salary, gender equals to male, city equals to Bangalore. So when you have equals to operator in that column, so normally we should be able to create a non-clustered indexes. Clear? So this is one thing people should will ask you in the interview. When should I go in for the clustered index? If you wanted to retrieve a range of data on that column, so clustered index is more used. But non-clustered indexes are more used when you wanted to get the exact data, where city equals to, say, New York, where the country equals to US. If exact matches purpose, normally we're going to be using non-clustered index. Okay. What is the covered index we discussed? Covered index is always a non-clustered index. Covered index always gets the data from the index pages, but not from the data pages. Hence, it is very, very faster. Okay. So these are the things that people would be asking. If you wanted to disable indexes, if you wanted to enable indexes, that is also possible with the help of disabling and enable indexes, that we can simply execute them, and you can use them. So indexes are pretty much easily created, but try to understand you cannot create as much as possible. Okay, if I have 1,000 columns, so I'll be using in the where clause any one of the columns, say employee ID, employee gender, employee name, employee address. So a lot of things I'll be able to use in the where clause. So for each and everything, you will not be able to create an index. Clear? So you can also create, Vineet Goyal, you can test it. You can create employee ID, comma, employee name. That I told you. You try to implement on your own and let me know. So can I create more than one column? Why not? Create a clustered index on table name, employee ID, comma, employee name. So that you can test it, and it is going to be working. Clear? And sometimes you should be able to or don't drop the indexes, you should be able to disable or enable the indexes. That is also one more thing that you need to understand. Where is enable? I think I have not there. I had somewhere the syntax, the enable, that. Okay. So if you wanted to alter any index, you have first get the index name on employee. You should be able to disable them. You should be able to enable them. Clear? So like that, whatever you would like to do, that you should be able to do it. Now, if you wanted to remove the fragmentation, that I told you how to delete the fragmentation. When you insert the data, delete the data, the fragmentation which gets created, you need to defragment it. For that purpose, there is a syntax called rebuild index or reorganize index. What is going to be happening? All the deleted pages are or removed, and data is going to be reorganizing internally. So that command you can just verify in the Google. You should be able to get it. So these are the index concept that we have, and you can understand.